Recently, I have been hard at work after the holidays have ended, playing the latest Spider-Man game for my eventual analysis coming in the next week or so, also preparing for the sequel to eventually come out fall of 2023. And while playing, I've come to the conclusion that this is the best superhero game ever made. Yeah, sure, this game has competition, such as the Batman Arkham games, where you play as a detective, fight crime, and take down the criminal underworld of Gotham and Arkham City. But the flaw with that game is it doesn't feel like you are a superhero, with no NPCs in sight to save, using fear to your advantage, and only really navigating places solely inhabited by villains and bad guys. It just feels like you're trying to save an unsavable city. In Spider-Man 2018, it's the opposite. Spider-Man swings through the city full of civilians and cars, going about their day like usual. You come across a homeless shelter such as Feast, caring for their innocent lives by just helping out as Peter Parker. In this game, it actively feels like you're making a difference, taking out bases across the map, helping some random dude get his pigeons back, preventing some muggings, and ultimately saving a savable city by getting an antidote for a horrible virus. I guess the right thing to say would be this game has the best superhero plot that I've seen. Risks are taken, nothing feels out of place, and just the right number of supervillains are in the game. You feel like you were in New York City as Spider-Man. And to mention the pacing, it feels so right. At the beginning, you take down Wilson Fisk, mission accomplished. But a domino effect happens. Martin Lee seizes an opportunity to take over his existing territory while Fisk is behind bars. Attacks Osborn out of revenge. You spend the majority of the game taking him down, and along the way, you see the deterioration of Otto, his mind going crazy. He breaks every supervillain out of jail, and now it's a race against the clock to stop a virus from sweeping all of Manhattan while battling Peter Parker's father figure. It's truly amazing. But what exactly complements this? Having a good plot is a good thing, but it isn't the only thing that the game needs to execute. The combat needs to be amazing. The world needs to be filled with things to do, and one of the most important things, traversal. The web swinging. In Spider-Man games, the only game that stands out in my mind to have good traversal mechanics would have to be Spider-Man 2 the video game, the game that went along with the movie. In this game, actual motion, gravity, objects that the web attaches to, these things help this traversal mechanic make sense within the world, realistic so to speak. But Spider-Man 2018 went above and beyond what gamers expected. Not only does it do the things I mentioned, you can also wall run, do tricks in the air, and be all swaggy. It has cool cinematic moments when you swing through a sign or something, and the speed at which Spider-Man swings at is just incredible. The amount of technological ability that this game engine has to even pull off this feat is amazing. And the sequel is going to do even better. And going more into depth with the city itself, it feels like more of a character within the world. It's active and changing. For example, when Devil's Breath gets released, the landscape changes completely, going from this beautiful place to a criminal playground. And with that comes more dangers for Spider-Man. Snipers aiming at you all the time, enemies everywhere, no cars are on the street really, factions fighting each other, and I love how they did this. And taking a page out of the Arkham games, the combat in Spider-Man 2018 feels like a rhythm game, which was the right mindset. Going from enemy to enemy within seconds, getting combos in order to fill up your ability meter to take down enemies with just a couple of button presses, using gadgets to whip up foes, and using the environment to your advantage. It honestly feels like something Spider-Man would do. And not to mention, if you look closely, say you take down an enemy and shortly after that said enemy becomes endangered by getting thrown off a building or something of that nature, Spider-Man will actually web him up somewhere if you look hard enough. The amount of detail that went into this is insane. And going deeper into this perk tree aspect of the game, I think it was a good choice in implementing this into the game, even though you feel overpowered by the end. The Arkham games, from what I can remember, never had this. I think Spider-Man 2018 took a page out of the infamous book by doing this. The hybrid between the button combos and the skill tree works like a charm. Through the combat itself, you have skills that you have to master. Button combos, air combos, combat that involves web swinging. It feels fluid and amazing. Adding the skill tree into the mix allows the players to have a sense of progression with another layer of replayability. The character gets more powerful as the story unfolds, which makes sense. Not to mention, the skill tree also has a path that allows progression with web swinging, which I never thought I would like. Adding tricks into the mix, swinging faster, jumping higher, once again it adds something to work for. Another thing that goes hand in hand with the abilities is the suits you can acquire. You can get these by completing objectives across the city, stopping crimes from taking place, taking out bases, going to research stations. All of these things come into play. And with these suits, along with looking cool, is getting abilities that correlate with those said suits, such as the anti-gravity ability with the Spider-Man 2099 suit, the gadget regeneration with the anti-ox suit, and my favorite, the spider bot that goes with the Stark suit. And once you unlock these abilities, you can switch these abilities no matter what suit you're wearing. Say you want to have the spider bot along with the traditional main suit in the game, you can absolutely do that. That sense of customization is great. One of the biggest criticisms I had for Arkham Knight was the Batmobile sections where you were actively shooting rubber bullets or something, hitting enemies with them, blowing up other tanks that were drones. It just didn't feel like Batman. It felt like you were unaliving people even though the game poorly and lazily explained it away by saying that cars aren't occupied by people, or the bullets you shot weren't fatal. It just felt like bullshit in order for the player to accept these gameplay segments. In this game, there isn't any of that really. I mean, besides throwing a live missile at someone, we're just gonna ignore that. Regardless, the point I'm trying to make is it feels genuine to Spider-Man and its lore. It goes hand in hand with the story segments such as Miles Morales becoming a Spider-Man at the end of the game, witnessing Doc Ock's transformation, seeing Peter be true to himself by sacrificing May for the lives of countless others in the city. There are sacrifices that are made in the game, being true to Spider-Man's lore. And kind of going further, this game does feel like a movie in and of itself. If you look at the likes of Spider-Man 2, overcoming surmountable odds with Doc Ock being just tremendously overpowering and defeating Spider-Man countless times. Or in No Way Home, where Peter Parker is kind of confronted with May's death and having to put these characters back into their rightful universes, feeling alone until two other Spider-Men come to save him. A Spider-Man story relies on insurmountable odds, and in this game, it definitely has that. You have a city that's being corrupted toward the end with the virus. You have supervillains running rampant across the city, taking them out one by one. And there was even one segment where Spider-Man gets his ass kicked by the Sinister Six, what it seems like the Sinister Six, because he just is out of his league. Everyone is out to get him. And I feel like that is what makes a Spider-Man movie. Everyone out to get Spider-Man, but Spider-Man overcomes it, being the hero the city deserves. And with that comes sacrifices. May's death. Even if you look at Ben's death, he started to realize that if I have these powers to stop these things from happening and they still happen, then how can he live with himself? It's kind of the same statement he made in Captain America Civil War. And it's true. And in this game, it just does that to a T. To kind of summarize everything, Spider-Man 2018 is one of those games you have to play like twice a year just because it's that good. The web swinging, the combat, the narrative, everything about this game is peak. In my opinion, beating out the Arkham games, being the best superhero game that has ever been made. Witnessing Peter Parker's struggles of coming to terms with those closest to him abandoning him and becoming something he never thought would happen. And the sacrifices that have been made to save countless lives. Everything about this game is epic in scale. A classic superhero tale. But anyways, thank you guys for watching this kind of short little video. It's probably only like 6 or 7 minutes, maybe even less. I just wanted to put something out into my eventual analysis of this game. This game is so close to me. It's up to the likes of The Last of Us and God of War. It really means a lot to me. I play this game kind of like at my lowest moment, and it really kind of cemented itself into my mind, changing my life, kind of looking at it from a point of view of you just need to do good in your life. And Spider-Man is that person. Spider-Man has always been someone who has always been down in the dumps, always been treated like shit, has no money, has girl problems, all of this, and it's even shown in the game. And just to have this person constantly get shit on but still do the right thing is kind of life-changing. And this game just, it does it so well, better than any movie, any comic book, in my opinion. But my plan is to come back after the new year and give you guys some better content, like the analysis coming soon. I hope everyone has a good rest of the holidays. I really hope you guys got the presents you wanted. Maybe it was even a Spider-Man game, a PS5, whatever it was. I don't know. I hope to wish you guys the best. I'll see you next time. See you later.